Hello, welcome back to Foos Entertainment from my review of 2009's The Final Destination. Now, as the year that the film was released has been made very apparent, this is the first Final Destination film to actually be filmed in full high-definition 1080. And so, definitely going to be a little bit different on the quality side. So let's talk about the plot first. In my opinion, somewhat throughout the plot and such. Okay. As far as a 3D film, because I originally saw it in 3D, originally owned the 3D version, I might add, back in the day. This is a damn good 3D film. In a lot of ways, that's the big selling point of this movie, is the 3D. Now, Final Destination 1 through 3 kind of took place over the course of roughly 8 to 9 years. The first film taking place, and then the second one taking place about 4 years after the first, and then about another 4 years later for the third film. This film takes place, best guess I would say, 10 to 12 years after the events of the first film. So, that's why it's called The Final Destination. It's called The Final Destination for a reason. This is supposed to be deliberately the final movie in the timeline. Okay, this one takes place at a race car track. And our main character, he was a guy, is with his girlfriend and his best friend and his best friend's girlfriend at this NASCAR race track. And it's a very old racetrack, and it's the final race on this track. So, take some advice from this movie. If a race track is so old that it's being demolished, and they want to have one last race on it, don't go to it. Because this might happen. He sees everybody, including himself, die. And he freaks out, and obviously he gets 7 people off. 7, 8 people, whatever, something like that. It's usually 7 in these films. I don't know, I guess it's like the number 7. And this kind of reckons back to the second film, but in a more interesting way than the second movie. He actually has nightmares that predict and gives him foresight into how his friends, as well as people that he met at the racetrack that he saved, die. And yeah, he cheats death several times and saves people with heroic acts. But at the end of the film, they all end up dead. Because like I said, they all end up dead in these. Now, this being the Final Destination, there won't be any more timeline-wise going forward in this franchise. Now let's talk about the quality. Well, I didn't watch it in 3D this time. I watched it in 2D. But this film was really meant to be watched in 3D. Now I'll get to the 3D first. The 3D is very, very, very overused in this movie. Everything comes off the screen. Literally, everything comes off the screen all the time. This is literally meant as a theme park attraction of a 3D film. So, it's marketed as a 3D film, and man, does it deliver as a 3D film. So if you're into this having everything come off the screen and shock you, and that being a shock element, this is definitely a film for you. But I didn't watch it that way. And so, what's kind of distracting about it is this film kind of reminds me of Friday the 13th Part 3 from 1982. which is designed to be shown in 3D only, and then watching it in 2D, and then having stuff literally get thrown at you like all the time throughout the entire movie. And that's kind of what Final Destination 4, also known as The Final Destination, has, is everything's thrown at you all the time. And as you can see, I'm making a 3D film. Okay, so obviously, this is meant to come off the screen. And so you have that all the time throughout the film, to where everything is being thrown at you, but you're not watching it in 3D, which kind of is a disappointment, but also a distraction at times. And so if you can actually track down a copy in 3D, get that, and use your 3D setup if you actually have one. Are you prepared for a film that threw everything at you because it was always intended to be seen only in 3D? That's kind of in terms of the experience. Picture-wise, this is the first one to actually truly be in full HD. And so, a big major boost up. This is the first really good looking film in the franchise, in my opinion, by today's standards of video technology. And this is very, very good. I mean, Final Destination 4 and 5 equally have this in common. They are absolutely gorgeous to look at. They look very good because this is presented originally in full HD. So you have the perfect harmonized balance between warm, cool, and neutral color temperatures, and the resolution quality, you can see it. And when it is converted to 4K from my TV, it just enhances that even more. This is a beautiful movie to look at. The audio has been stepped up too. They're no longer using Dolby Laboratories; they're using DTS Incorporated now. So this film's in 5.1 DTS HD Master Audio, and it sounds great. It sounds really, really good. It's very effect heavy. Lots of effects flying around, and my system is an Atmos and DTS X system, so obviously the DTS HDMA audio sound presentation has overhead effects and stuff added, and this is pretty good. A lot better than the first three films. And the first three films were not terrible. They had pretty good sound. They're a product of their time. This one could, let's put it this way, the first three films, if they were released today with the quality that they're in, they would not perform well quality wise on a 21st century 2022 cinema auditorium. But The Final Destination, on the other hand, would perform perfectly. And so you have that sense of quality about it. And that's all there's to say about The Final Destination, except for this. Out of all the films, this is my least favorite one of them. This is a very, very comical, typical, mediocre fucking train wreck compared to the first three films. This, in terms of the movie itself, this is a terrible Final Destination film. I'm sorry. I just will say that this is just a cash grab 3D theme park movie, and beyond that there's nothing to really enjoy in this film at all. I mean, you could go ahead and skip The Final Destination and just go directly into Final Destination 5, which is the prequel to the first movie, and have much more fun with that. Which I can very arguably say is my third favorite movie in the franchise. Is the fifth, followed by the second. And 4 is definitely the one at the very bottom, because I just don't know why people would say this is a really good one in the franchise, because it's not. It's the worst one in the franchise. And that's all I have to say about The Final Destination from 2009. I will see you guys next time for my review of Final Destination 5. Until then.